I know from my research, he did a little bit of rape involved. I'm not really going to touch on that very much. It might be too sensitive for me these days.
Just a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
You're not going to mention it at all?
It just in like passing.
Okay.
I might have a little more information about like
just a
the
cash
murder
rape
side.
here.
Basically, he like to assault the woman first and then kill them. But
yeah.
Not that I feel like enjoy is the wrong word to use here, but I kind of like that this one's just to the point.
Yeah. Info's there. It's done. It's a little upsetting.
There are some areas I could have probably gone further with research. I didn't. Maybe you did. I don't know.
See, I always think of these things after the fact.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking today at work, like, oh, I should probably look into this more because it might be interesting. But then I didn't.
I'd like to think, I have 5 pages. When I first went through it, I had like 7 pages, and that's why I was like, I should stop doing stuff because I'm going to talk too much.
Whoa.
And then I organized.
Uh-huh.
Because I think I was just saying the same thing. Because I like to compare and contrast different websites.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm like, I better tighten this up so I can just flow better this time. Will I? I don't know.
Well, we'll find our process. I'm definitely still finding mine. I think I started off at like 6 and then condensed down to 4.
Okay. I mean, mine's really 4 1/4, but the total count is 5, so that's what I go based on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus. You can't do that. You can't just fluff the numbers.
It's too late. I already rounded up.
Okay. So this is Chalk Outline, and you're Katie.
I wasn't ready for that. I'm Katie. That's Cody, I guess.
That was weird.
Oh, it's too late.
Okay.
You really just sprung that on me. Full force.
I'm not going to apologize.
It might be a method, though, if you keep doing that to me. Maybe one of these days I'll adapt.
I mean, I feel like I'm just going to try and keep coming up with new ways to throw you off. Eventually, I'm going to hit a brick wall.
Why is it a thing that I hate to introduce myself?
I think it's everyone. Why do you think I introduced you?
I don't know. I hate to introduce you too, if that counts as something like...
Okay. Would something like pre-recorded help you out so we can just skip this entirely?
I don't know. That will also...
But look at how much fun we're having.
This is fun?
Well, yeah. You're not having fun?
Yeah, it's whatever. It's the most excitement I've had all day, I guess. I mean, maybe talking to my friends was nice. I didn't tell them about this.
This is more fun.
They're always like, what's new with you?
This is more fun. You gotta tell people.
I pooped today. What's new with you?
Most people do that every day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But it was new for today if I already had done it.
All right, well.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Listen, this is gonna be the highlight of your day. It has to be. You do it once every 2 weeks. It's kind of special.
Okay, do you want to hear something unrelated? I know I shouldn't even talk about this.
Sure, go for it.
They did confirm that Big Brother is starting on August 5th. That might conflict with this schedule because on those evenings, I am not doing anything besides watching that stupid show.
Are they rebooting it or something?
Okay, they put all the members. It's never stopped. They thought they wouldn't be able to do it this summer because COVID. They're putting everyone in a quarantine. Probably yesterday because it starts in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
It starts on a Wednesday. That's usually not a podcast day.
Mm-hmm.
It will probably be Thursday. It's probably evenings, though.
Okay.
We might just have to start pulling some strings with the schedule again.
See, I like that.
I don't because that one time we got fucked over then. And then he tried... he's not going to listen to this, but he tried to do it again then to me on a Monday.
It's worth it, though.
No. I was pissed off. Remember that one time? Because then I didn't oversleep. I just thought I had to be in work later than I did.
Yeah.
And then that one guy was like, I'm here for my rotation. I was like, get away from me.
I don't even want to look at you. It's fine.
And I still don't like him now.
Listen, don't make it awkward.
That's what I do.
Okay.
I'm going to get a Tina Belcher tattoo. Ryan and I were talking about that. He's like, how do you not have a Bob's Burgers tattoo yet? I was like, because I don't want to make an appointment in today's world to get a tattoo. That's so annoying. I want to walk in and say, put this on my body.
Wait a minute. Speaking of appointments, I've got a little story for you. I had to cancel my dentist appointment because I found out my dentist is just like, fuck masks. I don't care if you wear them. We're not. And I'm like, I don't feel safe going into that cesspool.
Okay, here are my thoughts real quick on that.
Oh boy.
At my dentist, I've gone to the same guy since I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
Family guy.
Uh-huh.
He's old. He's cool. He's Jewish. I like him.
Okay.
He's balding. I went to school with his kids. I feel like half the time they always wore a mask, like a surgical, like disposable
one. Well, they're
one.
peering into your face,
right,
the whole time.
I assume because they're always like, "So what's new with you?" As they're like, "Ah," in your mouth.
Yeah, right.
And they probably don't want to accidentally like spit on you or something. So for them to already not be wearing a mask and then COVID, that's sketchy. You should go to a different dentist.
Yeah, and they never closed. They haven't closed throughout all of this. And we know someone that has a relative that went there and like stormed out because no one was wearing masks, no employees or anything.
I don't want to shame these people on this. Not that anyone that listens to this probably even lives near us or would know, but I'm really curious. Maybe you'll have to tell me later who this freaking dentist is.
I will. But she was so upset that this guy walked out and was like, I don't feel comfortable being here because of the way you're running this place. She sent him like an angry email. And it seems like the kind of thing that you would see like memed on the internet. It was so ridiculous. I kind of want to see if we can make that happen. Like I want them to post it and see what happens.
I'd be down for that.
Really silly. And I got to find a new dentist.
My dentist, once they reopened, were like, you're due for your appointment because we had to cancel you in April. I was like, joke's on you. I was going to cancel that anyways because I forgot I was supposed to be in a wedding, but that was also canceled. And, well, delayed, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm just too lazy to make an appointment right now because probably they're just going to cancel it again.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I don't, And
I like going to the dentist.
I'll get my teeth cleaned in like 2 years. It's fine.
I'm pretty sure my dad's never gone to the dentist, so it's fine. I don't think he believes in that.
Okay. Well, everyone has their own things, right?
Or any other stories?
No.
I probably have a billion, but that's fine. We'll have to pass the time tomorrow.
Probably get into this at some point.
Okay, well, I wasn't even going to say his name. That seems like important information.
We could just talk about him the entire time and then say his name at the end.
It honestly seems like a mistake I could have made. It's going to be like, okay, so mine starts with like early life and background information. I'm like, oh no, it actually starts with his name. I always put the name as my title.
Right.
Israel Keys? Is that how I assume it's just Keys?
That's how I would say it.
I can't come up with anything else.
Keys?
There are going to be other words that I'll probably mispronounce coming up.
Fair.
Like names.
Yeah.
I like to read, but I don't know how to pronounce.
Okay. Well, since you
like reading. I come up with pronouncing things in my head.
And then you can't say them?
No, I'm just like, it's probably that. And then I say something out loud and everyone's like, that's not right. That's not a word.
That was the worst.
Whatever. One more story.
Okay.
This past weekend on Girls' Day, we were playing Mario Kart, and I was like, Grand Prix. They're like, no. I'm like, I see what I did there. I read the word as it's spelled, sort of. But you're right. I was wrong. It's Grand Prix.
That's tough.
I was like, so let's do battle mode instead, because I've embarrassed myself. All right, so Israel Keys, early life and background information.
Go for it.
All right, well, just like an overview, he was a serial killer. He would travel to different locations to just kill random people.
No, wait, is he a serial killer? Like we're talking about him on a crime podcast. Okay.
Are you making fun of me?
No.
Is that what's happening? I can't tell. I at first thought this was a serious question. Like, what's the difference between a serial killer and a murderer? Or something?
I mean, I watched like the emotions on your face.
Go from confusion to pissed off because you're making fun of me.
Please continue.
I'm kind of over it. I don't even know if I'm going to talk anymore.
You will. That's why you're here.
Well, I was going to say, if you would have let me finish my freaking sentence. He didn't even have a type, He
definitely didn't. I appreciate that about him.
Yeah, a lot of it kind of made me think of the show or book series Dexter. He did have a type, though. It was really like other bad people murderers.
Mm-hmm.
But just some of the things seem similar. Anyways, that's who he was.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
That's
no,
all
I'm
you
just
have?
kidding. No,
Okay.
I have a lot. I don't know what you have, so if you want to take over at any point, that's fine. He was born in Cove, Utah, January 7th, 1978. Is it Cove? It's just Cove.
I think
Sometimes now it's like if a word seems too easy. Am I wrong?
I would say Cove if that makes you feel better. It shouldn't.
Dankeschön. He was the second born out of 10 kids. How crazy is that?
That's rough.
Who does that?
I don't know.
First of all, what woman wants to go through that?
Maybe she didn't have a choice.
I don't know.
Who knows?
You're right.
Look how he turned out.
He was homeschooled.
Not surprising.
It's because his parents didn't believe in public schools. I have a little bit more on that, I guess. I'm going out of order already. Oh, well. You put notes in an organized manner just to jump ahead. They moved around a lot. So what I have, it didn't seem clear. And maybe it's just based on his memory. And maybe his memory isn't clear. Or other family members. Between like ages 3 to 5. They moved to Colville, Washington.
Mm-hmm. I have that.
They later on in like the 90s moved again. I don't freaking know. Malpin, Oregon. Do you have that?
That's a tough one to pronounce. I don't really know.
Malpin.
I think so.
I've never heard that before.
That's what I would go with.
From nowhere, PA, so.
That's fine.
And then eventually to Maine, but anyways. So when they're little, they moved to Washington. When he's little, I guess. They lived in a 1-bedroom, like cabin-style house without electricity or heat or like water, running water, I guess. Maybe there was like buckets of water. Maybe they had a well.
That's rough.
I don't know. And then his parents, they didn't really believe, well, I said they didn't believe in public schools or like government-related crap or medicine.
Really, anything modern.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck it.
Probably could have done a whole story on them.
Yeah, probably. And the company that he kept, or his family.
Right. So when I guess in that cabin in Washington, probably mispronounced this, Chevy Kehoe? Do you have that?
Possibly, yes. Okay. I have the name here, but that's probably...
Sometimes, maybe at first, it's like, I don't look up how to say things. And I'm like, no, I don't even care.
See, now I do that, and I'll just forget anyways.
That's probably why I don't care.
Sometimes if I look up the correct pronunciation, I'll write it in the notes in some way that I can figure it out again.
I wouldn't be able to figure out what I'm trying to say.
But
I don't know. That's fair. Well, they were neighbors with this guy, Chevy.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of him, so I looked into him, and just basically he was a white supremacist who was a murderer. I read it was some person that he kidnapped, tortured, then murdered William Mueller, and then that guy's whole family.
Yeah.
And then I was like, there's probably more to be said about this guy, but that's not the point. So that's just the basic overview that they were neighbors with a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it inspired Israel.
Maybe.
Don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's how he got his start.
He's like, wow, I really look up to that guy.
Playing over at the neighbor's house, and he's like, hey, kid,
check
this out. You want to learn some skills?
Never know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so I don't have any other information on him. I don't know if you do. I didn't really care as much about him in the context of this topic.
I was just like, oh, cool. He was a murderer. That's weird.
Other little information I have about his childhood, his parents. Okay, and I might not have this right between the different articles I was reading. Parents were originally members of the Church of Jesus Christ. Don't really know. Like, I don't know if that's a church name or if that means something to people. This is not my strong area. Then they left that and became fundamentalist Christians. I also don't know what that really means. And then they joined a white supremacist church.
Yeah.
That's what I have on like the religion of how I guess the kids were raised.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely a little weird. Like, like I don't exactly know what it is. Christian identity churches. It seems a bit sketchy. But
I'm just going to assume all of which were cults.
Yes.
Maybe that's offensive. Don't care. Don't get me started.
Okay.
Or do. I like to fight.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything. I mean, maybe just to see what you'd come back with, but I think we're in the same camp.
Probably. He later, as a teenager, told his family he didn't have the same faith as them. He was an atheist, didn't care for all that crap. And that bothered his father, so then his father wanted nothing to do with him, but he stayed in contact with like his mom and his sisters.
Mm-hmm.
maybe they were brothers. I don't know. I didn't really have that. It just said stuff about his sisters in my research. So I have more if you want me to keep going, or you can jump into.
I mean, if you want to keep going, and I'll just jump in like whenever he starts.
So, like I said, then they, at some point in the 90s, so probably when he's a teenager, they moved to Oregon, and then they moved to Maine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know really the exact timeline. I couldn't find that. I didn't look too hard, though, to be honest. They just moved a lot. But I had, while living, I believe it was in Maine, not Oregon, but maybe I'm wrong. He started, and as like a teenager, breaking into some of the neighbors' houses just to steal guns. He enjoyed hunting. He stated one time that he just liked to go after anything with a heartbeat, and he was known to torture animals. So, signs of a psychopath.
Definitely.
Never read if he was a bedwetter, though, or had head trauma.
I mean, I think all you need is one big red flag. Like,
I feel like the animal torture, like this,
yeah.
I can understand hunting. I come from rednecks.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I fight with my dad about that too, I guess. Not as much anymore, but torturing animals, no, I don't like you.
Yeah, that's a little much.
And then I have a quote, because I like to get quotes when I find them.
Oh, okay.
He once said, I've known since I was 14 that there were things that I thought were normal and that were okay, that nobody else seemed to think were normal and okay. So he was maybe somewhat aware that he was screwed up in the head.
Yeah, later in life, too, I have some quotes, and he seems like a very self-aware person. So I think that makes it a little more terrifying, though. Like, he knew exactly what he was going to be, but...
I don't know.
Do you have anything else? I was just going to pick up, like, once he started, doing bad things.
I'll have like some of his military background.
Okay.
He joined the army in 1998 and was in the army until 2001. He was stationed in a couple of different areas, including Egypt, which I thought was interesting. He was honorably discharged. He was awarded a bunch of different things while there. I didn't write it down because I didn't know what they all meant and I didn't really care, but it sounded like he did well while in the army. Maybe because he liked killing. Don't know.
I think he did okay. He was discharged at specialist rank, which is, I mean, it's still pretty low, but...
Well, he's only there for a few years. I don't know how the army really works, but... And then there was some information that, like, his friend shared that he usually just kept himself, but he would like to drink heavily on the weekends. His favorite drink, wild turkey bourbon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he liked Insane Clown Pussy.
That's...
Why can't I say that word now?
Did you just say Insane Clown Pussy?
I didn't say pussy.
It sounded like it.
It probably came out like that.
It's weird.
Is that a Freudian slip right now?
Maybe.
I mean, it's not spelled like that because sometimes I spell things wrong.
Okay.
No.
But still.
Oh, and he had a DUI at some point while he was in the army, but that was the only known trouble with the law he ever had.
Yeah. Which that DUI actually potentially ties him to other things down the road that they're still like investigating.
Yeah. I mean, from what he claims, most cases are still, or victims are still in active cases.
Yeah.
Because, he's dead. They don't know for sure from him anymore.
Exactly.
From his word. After he was out of the army, he met a woman in 2000 in Washington. They had a daughter together. I assume their relationship ended. I don't have too much about that. And I didn't even look into their life. Because I assume they want privacy. I don't know what would even be out there.
I don't know.
And he did later on say, like, before he died, that he didn't want mainly his daughter and mother to suffer from all of the actions that he did. He just wanted them to have a normal life.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And in 2007, whenever he moved to Alaska, he was living with a nurse. Some woman he was dating.
Yeah.
I don't know. To some degree, he must have been capable of relationships.
Apparently, he had children. At least one.
That's all. I only saw the thing about, like, the one daughter. I could be wrong. There might be more. I don't know.
Right.
If there are more, it seems that he favored one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I also figured he wasn't very involved since he's traveling around constantly.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know. I could be wrong. There wasn't really... Again, I didn't look hard, but I didn't come across much more information than that easily between a couple of sites I used. Bippity boppity. Did I want to steal your saying? Yes. And would you be in trouble if you finished the saying? Probably. It was a power play on my part. You passed the test, so.
Okay. Well, I know not to mess with you currently. But only currently.
That's fair. I'll probably be fine eventually.
Probably and eventually.
I don't know, because if there's going to be a trial soon, I'm going to be sucking all that up.
You're going to be living it the whole time, and every day is going to be just Triggered. A roller coaster.
Okay, so he becomes a psychopath.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start by saying that he confessed to a total of 4 murders just in Washington state. That's what I found.
Yes.
And 8 total. But there's something else later on down the road that leads people to believe that there were 11.
Yes. So at one point, I don't have like a direct quote or anything, but he stated something along the lines of, I've killed less than a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's another theory that they take it to mean that he's killed 11 people.
Yeah. So
that kept coming up for me.
Yeah.
He didn't admit to all of those.
It was the skull picture. Did you see that?
Yeah, he, while in like his jail cell, used his own blood somehow.
Yeah, I guess.
To doodle some skulls. But he did 12. And I'm just interpreting that means that he knew he was then going to kill himself and that he would be his 12th victim.
Maybe. Well, there was 11 skulls, but there was one that had like the head of Baphomet on it.
Oh.
Which is like it's Satan. But he said that he wasn't religious. Unless that's like him killing himself would be that. I don't know. But yeah. So he started things off in Washington state. So I'll take this since you don't want to. Between the late 90s and 2008, he admitted to 4 murders that took place there. So they're still in active investigation by like the FBI, state police. He's being investigated in being linked to an unsolved murder in Thurston County.
Where's that?
It says near
in Washington.
So I have.
Then I guess don't care.
Olympia.
I thought that was something different.
No,
I just kept being like, just the state's all I need.
I just have a note that says near Olympia, which I guess is a larger town. But I guess he was cited in that area for driving without a license, a valid license, that is. And he pled guilty for driving under the influence. So just the fact that he was cited in that area leads people to believe that he could be responsible.
In regards to Washington, I just have that he admitted to 4 murders.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they're still active. I don't know if you came across this. I don't know if you said this at some point or how I came across this, but it was something like one set was a couple, and the time range is anywhere between 2001 to 2005. And then an individual in 2005 and another individual in 2006. And that's as much as I have about what he said about Washington State.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't even know if he said that or if that's just the conclusion they're drawing.
Like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just have the number that he confessed to, which was apparently 4. But I think that's not taking into account the unsolved that's still going on. Or anything else that, they might be linking him to, but I didn't see anything else. For some reason, it's in here somewhere, but for some reason it's not in order. But while he was in Washington State, he did, there was a potential rape situation, right? Was that in Oregon?
I have Oregon.
Okay.
And that he, like, his first possible planned attack was like a teenage girl. He raped her. He said he was going to murder her, but she convinced him to let her go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from what he said, it was something like he didn't think he had it in him and he wasn't going to let that happen again. And that was in the late 90s. And then clearly let it happen again.
Right.
Couldn't control it.
So then we go on to him confessing to 1 murder in New York State.
Yes. That's what I have.
The only reason why they They don't know who it is.
They know
but
nothing.
They think that it's credible just because it's him.
Yeah.
And he actually owns 10 acres of land in Constable, which has like this really rundown.
That, I ignored it.
Yeah, he's got a property there. It's just got this rundown cabin. I don't think there's actually been any claims of him being seen there though. But he is a landowner there. He went on to confess to bank robberies in both New York and Texas. In New York, the robbery was confirmed by the FBI, taking place at the Community Branch Bank in Tupper Lake in April of 2009. And then he just claimed that he burglarized a home in Texas and set it on fire. I didn't see any.
I didn't look further into that either.
Yeah, it just didn't seem as interesting. I mean,
I read something that like he would rob banks and burglarize homes just to get money to be able to fund his lifestyle.
Yeah. So that takes us to Bill and Lorraine Currier of Essex, Vermont.
Wait, I have a little bit more about the New York one.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the same one. Well, or the New Jersey, I guess I should say.
They're the same thing.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it was that they believe that, like he said one time, he's like, I killed someone on the East Coast in 2009 and left the body in New York. So I have that the FBI believe it's a woman named Deborah Feldman from that area of New Jersey who went missing in April 2009.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't think they've ever been officially able to make the connection. That's all I have. I just figured I'd throw that in there.
Okay. Well, I didn't know any of that. So Bill and Lorraine Currier, interestingly enough, after the fact, Keyes didn't even know who they were. It's just a completely random killing. So the couple was last seen leaving their place of work. I have here in like June of 2011. Keyes was living in Anchorage, Alaska at this point, and he flew out to Chicago and then drove 1,000 miles and just broke into their home the night of June 8th, tied them up to drive them to an abandoned farmhouse. He shot Bill Currier and then proceeded to sexually assault Lorraine Currier and then strangled her to death.
Yeah.
And their bodies were never found.
What did he do? Well, actually, maybe I know what he did with them. Probably not. Just speculating.
Oh. What do you think?
Oh, you want me to talk?
I do.
Well, just because he used one of his like kill kits for that. And I read that like some of the things that he would keep in those kits were like chemicals that he would use to dispose of bodies. So I don't know, like an acid bath or something. That's kind of what I assumed.
I gotcha.
Could have happened.
Well, I only saw like one picture of the murder kit thing. It seems like a 5-gallon bucket. I don't know if there's going to be enough in there to like dissolve an entire body.
I don't know.
Unless he got really creative.
He seems like a creative guy.
I guess. But yeah, he had those murder kits like hidden in multiple states.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I guess I don't know what you read. I read that specific one that he would have used for that family. He had like hidden it 2 years. Is hidden? That seems weird to say. Hidden it. He hidden it 2 years prior to the time that he murdered them. So that way he knew like to go back.
Yeah.
And then after that murder, he moved that kit somewhere else.
Yeah, to Parrishville, New York. Yeah.
Did you also read? It was random, but did you read how he selected them? Or like why he picked that couple?
No.
They had no children. They didn't have a dog. And their house had an attached garage.
Wow.
So I assume maybe whenever he like was like, I want to go bear this kit. He's like, and then I want to plan out who I want to kill. And he's just like, maybe not. I don't know. But I read like, because maybe children and a barking dog would get in the way. I don't know what attached garage really means to him. But
how did he know that they didn't have kids? I guess you
think
can...
to some degree he probably stalked a little bit. Because he had to have planned a bit to have gotten away with it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like he didn't know their names or anything like that.
Right.
So unless it was just like a physical stalking to see if they
that's kind of what I figured.
Any kids coming
Still
and going.
random in the sense that he doesn't care who he's killing. He just wants to kill, but probably doesn't want to have to. Like maybe he wasn't into killing kids.
Maybe he like had.
And I assume just families with
he
dogs.
Had a code. No kids.
Just kind of like Dexter.
So we go right into the case that brought him down was Samantha I've been saying Koenig in
That's
my head.
what I assume it is, Koenig.
Okay, so the kidnap and murder of Samantha Koenig, an 18-year-old barista, in the place where he was living at the time, which was in Anchorage, Alaska, which was the only time that he ever committed one of these crimes on his home turf.
Right. He should have known better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not...
I think he admitted that, like, he was sloppy to some degree.
Like, he had a system and it was working out, and then he like lost control of his urges.
Yeah.
And down he went. So he abducted her from her place of employment, which was like a small coffee stand. Stole her debit card, some other property, which was mostly her cell phone.
He also had her driver's license, because that also then led to, like, whenever they found him.
Okay.
And, like, he was in a rental car, and he just had her license in the car. Okay. Which didn't help him at all.
Fair enough. Did you see anywhere that the authorities said that Samantha was sexually assaulted before she was killed as well?
I do have that. I just assumed maybe it was a theme for him if it was going to be a woman victim.
Maybe. I don't know.
I guess we won't know. But
okay, so one of his deals was after he would commit one of these crimes, he would leave for a while. So he actually went on a cruise, left out of New Orleans.
It's family vacation time.
Yeah. And he just left her body in a shed.
I think that's crazy.
He was like, whatever. So he comes back from the cruise and he posed her body to make it look like she was alive. He actually took fishing line and sewed her eyes open.
That is disgusting. And he like put makeup on her too.
Yeah. He made it just look really good. So then he took a picture with her with an issue of the Anchorage Daily dated February 13th, which was 12 days after she was abducted. And he was demanding a ransom of $30,000 from her family. The ransom letter was on the back of a photocopied the picture that he took on a photocopied version. He then texted Koenig's boyfriend with her phone with directions on how to find that note in a nearby dog park.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. After this, he was like, fuck all this. He got the ransom, dismembered her body, and then dumped her in the Matanuska Lake.
Sure.
Don't know how to pronounce that.
I didn't want to say that word, so I'm glad you took over.
But yeah, he just like cut a hole in the ice and was like, see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like a description of the surveillance footage that they have of him abducting her.
I know that they wouldn't actually release the video. Yeah, which is probably for the best, because I'm sometimes morbid. I'm like, I would probably watch that right now. Probably not. Yeah. So maybe it's for the best that they don't release things like that.
But there's not a whole lot of information in that. I mean, it says that like he came up, he ordered an Americano. Samantha made the Americano for Keys. He then pulled a gun. She's seen like putting her hands up and down a couple of times. And then he tells her to turn off the light to the stand. And apparently there was a panic button right next to the light switch, but she didn't hit it. Probably because she was too scared. She didn't want to set off anything. He then tied her up with zip ties, put her in his truck, and then left. Actually, he came back a few minutes later to get her cell phone while he left her in the truck. But only 4 minutes after he left with her cell phone, Koenig's boyfriend actually showed up to the stand.
If only he was
looking for her, but that's whatever. Then he used the cell phone to contact the owner of the coffee stand and Samantha Koenig's boyfriend, saying, I had a bad day. I'm leaving town for the weekend. Which seems weird.
It does seem weird. I don't know. I assume he thinks that he's being smart.
I guess. But
I feel like
if you're
people
gonna
have
leave
like a way they text.
Yeah.
Them if you get like a weird text from someone.
Yeah.
I'm leaving town.
If he was a smart guy, he probably would have just looked at the previous text and been like, what's her style? Is she like
that's a lot of work.
No punctuation kind of texter? Because that's a thing.
Can't even type LOL. You type LOO.
I guess. Some people are,
That's just one of my mistakes. Then your phone saves it, and then you keep saying it sometimes.
Yeah, it's rough.
What you gonna do?
You want to take over?
Well, I have a little bit of other things that like he was either speculated of doing also that might fit in okay here.
So you're just going to show me up?
No.
Okay.
You had a lot more information on her than I did. I have a funny typo. You would really think I feel like every time I was like, I have a typo. And I see the red squiggles and I just ignore them.
That's rough. How? How do you just ignore them?
I don't mean to brag, but I did really well in college. And I was definitely worse than this, I think, in college.
So
I skipped religious studies one day because I think I was really sick. And my professor was so old and old school. He would just speak to the classroom and sometimes write on the chalkboard. He would not do PowerPoint or anything. And I would type word for word everything he said so fast. And I would still do bad on his exams because he'd be like, blah, 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 blah. What was the exact date of this thing? I'm like, I don't know. That's a dumb question. That's not teaching me concepts or theories or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really thought I would learn about religion.
Okay.
All of the religions. But
all of them.
But I missed class. And I was like, hey, random kid, I wasn't here on Tuesday. Can I copy your notes? And she had so many misspelled words. I'm like, I just got to commit to I don't even know what you're saying because I picked you. I should have picked someone smarter, but I picked you.
That's rough.
Anyways, back to this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I assume this is just like FBI speculation, but there was a girl who went missing in Colville, Washington in 1996, Julie Harris. Just random information about her. She had prosthetic feet. And
oof.
I don't know, but they found, like, I guess that and then her remains later on in 1997. And they did question him about that while, like, he must have been in custody.
Okay.
Because he would have still been in that area. And he denied any involvement. I think, though, based on the fact that we have that information about that teenage girl that he raped and wanted to murder after the matter, he like claimed that was his first planned thing. So it maybe doesn't seem as likely, but who knows? He also would have been like, what, 18 at this time? It's possible, but like,
I'm so bad at timelines and keeping track of people's ages and all that stuff.
Sometimes I write it out because I think it's interesting how people were when they did certain things, but
I should probably do that because I can't just do it.
I didn't write it out here. I'm doing it in my head right now. I'm pretty sure he would have been 18 in 1996. So
okay.
But also I said in the 90s he moved to like Maine, so I don't know now.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't say anything, but I don't have anything about him moving to Maine.
I found it somewhere.
I don't know.
I could be a liar, but I read it somewhere.
I believe you.
I don't know. Maybe they just went on summer vacation.
Maybe you were just more thorough than I was.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he denied having anything to do with that, but I guess we don't know. And then there was a mother-daughter in Washington in 2006, Mary Cooper. She was 56 at the time, and then her daughter was Susanna Stoughton, and she was 27. They were shot while they were hiking, and they suspect that he was involved. I don't really have anything further. I don't know.
Wait, would that put us up to the 4 that he confessed to, but they just shrugged their shoulders? I think those would be
extra, in addition to the 4.
Extra. So if he confessed to 8 total, how many did you just list off? Was it 3?
I just said 3.
Well, that would put us at 11.
It's possible.
And that's the theory, is 11.
I don't really know.
There's probably people smarter than us that have already thought of that, so whatever.
They can go fuck themselves. That was mean, but I don't care.
Okay.
Okay, and then I just have a few information on other crimes that he would have been involved in. The FBI reported he would have broken into somewhere between 20 to 30 homes all across the U.S. I just have he robbed a lot of banks. There wasn't a number, but he would have done that for from 2001 to 2012 to just get extra money.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. He's linked to at least 11 deaths. We already said that. Possibly. But it's possible there was definitely more and outside of the U.S. because he traveled around. I don't know where I have it in my notes because I'm not seeing it right now, but I know off the top of my head he was known to have gone to Canada, Mexico, and Belize as well for traveling purposes.
Okay.
So, maybe he's like, I'm far from home. I can get away with this. Oh, and then while like in custody, he apparently told the authorities like his next goal was to be like traveling as a contractor, and that he like. No, I lost my spot. I don't know, but that way he could like work, travel, make money, but be able to kill better. And then he also dreamt of building a house to imprison victims.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
H.H. Holmes style, maybe.
Oh,
I don't know. I think it was just like.
Okay.
He could have just been like, "I'm already arrested. I'm going to say whatever I want now."
Yeah.
I did. Like,
maybe because he didn't like people actually knowing the truth about him.
Right. I was going to say he got pleasure out of like not giving them full information. He probably got pleasure out of just saying stuff too. So who knows?
Right. I mean, I do have the like. Okay, so he was in Anchorage in 2011 because he had to travel from there to Vermont to kill the couriers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what year exactly he moved to Alaska, but he was a businessman. Like he had his own construction business. He was like a handyman kind of deal. And I guess he was fairly successful at that. So I wonder why he was still robbing banks. It seems like an unnecessary risk.
Maybe just like got off on it or something.
I don't know.
I found in my notes where it said how he would visit other countries. I don't know. And I just have a little other random information just about like how he didn't ever have a specific victim in mind, but he would like to go to places like parks or cemeteries to find possible victims at random. And he said, and again, this could be stuff that he was saying after in custody to just mess with them. I don't know. But he said there would typically not be witnesses at the time that he'd go. Mm-hmm. No one was around, so he figured it was safe. He traditionally did like to kill far from home and never in the same place twice.
Yeah. Did you see the thing that he almost did? The other crime that he almost committed in Anchorage, which was he was at a beach overlook and he wanted to just try out the silencer that he got for his one gun. And he almost killed a couple and a police officer that were on the beach.
Oh.
But there was another cop that showed up as backup and he just laughed about it and said, quote, "I almost got myself into a lot of trouble on that one."
Interesting. I never read that one.
Yeah, like he was going to kill 3 people just to test his silencer out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is admirable in a way. You know?
Debatable, but... And then I just have a random fact that he really admired Ted Bundy, apparently.
I did read that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing.
Which I think they had different styles. You know, I mean, they were similar. They both killed people.
Yeah.
But
they both killed people, right? They're the same person. Yeah, why not? So I guess this lands us in him being arrested, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
So what I have is that he was arrested in Texas after using Samantha Koning's debit card in an ATM. I
just feel like how freaking stupid.
Yeah.
He knew when he would travel to murder people to not use his own cards.
Right. Yeah, he was
clearly
a cash
people are
guy.
Like, where's this girl?
Yeah.
The picture of her with newspaper ransom.
Right.
Why would you use her debit card?
And then who would have known that ATMs had cameras on them? And his rental car got photographed.
Yeah.
So it was a really disappointing end.
Right.
Like, I don't know if he obviously wasn't in his right state of mind.
Yeah. Maybe he's overwhelmed. I don't know.
Maybe. But he was caught, immediately extradited to Alaska, and he confessed.
I have the names of the people who caught him. Shout out to them.
Oh,
Brian
ahead.
Henry and Stephen Rayburn.
Wow.
One was a Texas Highway Patrol corporal, and the other was just a Texas Ranger.
Just a Texas,
I don't
Texas
know.
Ranger.
Maybe that's the higher ranked one. I just feel like, you don't hear that title. Maybe in Texas. I'm not in Texas, so I don't hear that title. But I thought it was fun. I'm like, I'm going to put that in my notes. I like that. And it was at Cotton Patch Cafe's parking lot.
Okay.
Did you read that?
Yeah, I read it was in a parking lot.
Cotton Patch Cafe.
Cotton Patch Cafe.
What a name.
That's great.
Sorry, I just wanted to.
Now I just have the Walker Texas Ranger theme song stuck in my head.
I know I've seen that as a child, but I don't know the theme song off the top of my head.
All right. So for a guy that didn't really like a lot of information out there about him, like he just immediately confessed to killing Samantha Koenig.
Yeah.
I guess it was pretty obvious. He had her debit card and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But still, that was in the in March of 2013.
Mm-hmm. I also have, so whenever he traveled to Texas before he got caught, I guess his mom and siblings were in Texas at this time.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Maybe I could be wrong, but I have in Texas. And so he decided to go give them a visit. And his sister was like, apparently trying to push him to like get back on track with their faith. And didn't like that he was an atheist.
That's rough.
And I have another quote.
Oh?
You don't know the depths of darkness that I've gone to. You don't know what I've done. And then he got arrested. Like, she knows now.
It's cat's out of the bag.
Yep.
Okay. So, after his capture, he obviously was being investigated, interrogated, all that jazz. This is where he actually confessed to that Oregon deal and the animal torture.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quote from one of the Anchorage homicide detectives, Monique Dole. Did you see anything from her?
No.
Okay, so she worked on the investigation, and her quote is, Israel Keyes didn't kidnap and kill people because he was crazy. He didn't kidnap and kill people because his deity told him to, or because he had a bad childhood. Israel Keyes did this because he got an immense amount of enjoyment out of it, much like an addict gets immense amount of enjoyment out of drugs. So
makes sense.
I guess it was really clear to people that talked to him that he just liked what he did.
Yeah.
He then basically confessed to being two different people. This is Keyes. Yeah, he told
I didn't read that.
He told him there's no one who that this doesn't make much sense to me, so I don't know, maybe it was misquoted. This comes from Keyes. There's no one who knows me or has ever really known me or knows anything about me. So I don't know if he just had two completely separate lives going on in his head, and one of them was just completely fake, and anyone in his life, that's all they knew.
I just assume that's why I feel like it's similar to Dexter. He probably knew he had to somewhat live a normal life to get away with what he was doing, and it was probably all completely fake for him.
I guess.
That I don't know. I'm just speculating based off a TV show.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a good train of thought.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else interesting, like while he was being investigated.
I don't necessarily know if I have anything interesting, but he did keep saying he knew he was going to get charged for everything, so he pushed for a quick execution date because he didn't want to have to be stuck in a jail cell for however long, which is the only reason why, to try and make a deal for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he gave up the information on the courier's murders, because he was like, if I tell you about these other murders I did, I want you to help me get executed quick so I can get this over with.
So he was just a very pragmatic person. And I
assume that since, I don't know, I mean, if he was arrested in March, by December, he's like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he had enough because he killed himself.
Yeah.
So he was still waiting for the trial of the murder of Samantha Koenig. He committed suicide December 2nd, 2012 by self-induced.
I have December 1st, but he was found on the 2nd. Could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I just want to disagree with you.
I'm just going to say that I'm right.
No, I don't want to say that. You're wrong. I read that they, the people working the jail, they were all specifically told or whatever, make sure this guy doesn't get razor blades. He must have clearly been suicidal.
Yeah.
He got one, though, somehow.
I guess. Chopped up his wrists, strangled himself with bed sheets.
Mm-hmm. And I read that he left.
What a way to go out.
I don't know what the suicide note was, but it said that it was an ode to murder.
Yeah. Yeah, it was under his
body, I think.
Under his body, right? I was going to say his bed at first, and then I remembered maybe it was under his body. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. And no surprise he didn't leave any clues about the rest of his victims.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was like, I don't care. I just want to be out of this world.
Just want to go.
Yeah.
I'm done.
The last little bit of information I have is the only people to attend his funeral was his mother, his 4 sisters, and 3 of them, their husbands.
Oh.
No one else cared about him.
I didn't see that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But that's honestly more people than I would have expected.
That's 8 people.
I mean, I'm not going to have that well of a turnout.
I wonder, though, also, maybe they didn't know the full depths of everything. I'm sure a lot of information came out after the matter. Like, I'm sure they thought he was associated with, like, kidnapping and murdering that one girl. Did they know everything else at the time? I don't know.
I guess this was an ongoing investigation, so they wouldn't have released all those details. I don't know, though. I don't know how that works with, like, close family. They probably don't know anything either, right?
I don't know.
Fortunately, I've never had to go through it. So... So do you have anything else? Because I'm completely dry.
I don't think I really have anything else. Okay. I just,
I thought this one was fun,
beginning of his life to him dying. Yes. That seems like the proper flow of notes.
I mean, that's how I have mine set up, so I'm glad we're on the same page.
It's because I decided to try and be organized today.
So you didn't have them set up like that before?
It gets messy.
That's disturbing. You don't...
Do you know what this is what I do? You start on like one website and you're like, you're reading and you're just typing notes as you go. I like to like, I can't, at work when we're like to do projection and the plan summary.
You split the screen.
Well, I don't know how to do that on my laptop, so I just make it split myself,
Yeah, I don't think Macs have that.
Oh, well.
Sucks to suck.
I find a way.
Nerd.
And then I like type, I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. And I type that. And I'm like, okay, let's go to a different website. And then I just enter. And then I start doing it. And so then I just scroll back up and down as we're talking normally. But this time I was like, no, I want to put it all together in logical order.
That makes me severely uncomfortable.
Good. I know where things are in my notes. Except for when I'm like, hold on, I can't find what I'm about to talk about.
Yeah.
Sorry, my trailed off. Words stopped making sense for a moment as they were coming out.
It's fine.
Sometimes I start a sentence and I just hope I find it along the way.
Yeah.
Michael Scott. Something like that.
I
don't like to quote shows.
Oh,
because I mess them up.
Yeah.
But I like Michael Scott.
I get really excited whenever I'm going to quote something and then I botch it somehow. And I just look like a stupid idiot. But I have good news. Our social media presence is taken off.
Remember when I started making Instagram?
Yeah, you still need to do that, except you scared me out of knowing that if there was like any like negative feedback, you would just be like, fuck this.
That's why I haven't done it yet. Am I allowed to disable comments?
No.
I don't know if I could be in charge of it then.
Maybe
People
we don't.
People are going to be like, you have an annoying voice. And be like, oh.
Maybe we don't need an Instagram account, but really I thought you could just...
Instagram is stupid anyways.
I mean, I thought you could just memes, pour your dog out and people would be like, wow, that's an awesome looking dog. I'm going to click on this podcast. Wow, this is an awesome podcast. That was my train of thought.
I didn't really... Maybe you tried to tell me that before.
Maybe.
Sounds familiar.
I remember you being on board.
That sounds like me.
You're like, that's a genius idea. And I'm like, thank you. But now I'm not so sure.
Someday I'll get there.
Maybe someday. Okay. But
don't know.
And there's like people reviewing us on Apple Podcasts.
Is it bad?
No, we're 5 stars right now.
Are you lying to me?
I'm not. There's like 5 or 6 reviews.
If you are, it's the right thing to do.
And 3 people actually left comments. They're like, this is cool.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like, check us out on...
Now I'm going to have an ego boost.
That's exactly what we need. We're going to be superstars in no time. No. People love this stuff. Confidence sells everything.
It comes and goes in this scenario.
Yeah, I guess. So, check us out on Twitter.
What's our Twitter?
Chalk Outline Pod. Okay? Just look Chalk Outline. We're right there. It's fine. Okay? And we're like everywhere. On
what do you mean we're everywhere?
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
I still haven't. So I've switched over to just using regular Google Podcasts now.
Yeah. Because you're not a psychopath?
No, I am a little bit.
Jesus. Okay.
It's kind of neat because you can like cue it and then it just like immediately starts the next one for you.
Yeah, it's called a playlist.
Okay, I didn't have that luxury before on my like Google Music thing where you can also have podcasts in it.
Yeah.
Or I don't understand technology. It's not my fault.
It's fine. I'm not going to judge.
Anyways, I still haven't even downloaded this podcast. Not that I want to listen to
That's
it, but
fine.
I'm like, I should download it and support it.
Listen, I mean, I don't listen to it except for, editing, which is enough. Wow.
I did one earlier. I don't know if you even noticed because I think you were talking. It wasn't as loud.
I don't think I did.
Maybe you'll hear it when you're editing.
I'm going to. That one was good.
It was the best I could come up with in this moment.
I could tell you really tried, though.
I was trying to. Yeah, I was.
You were like, I'm going to project this.
Yes.
I don't have anything else, though.
I don't either.
You should send us off in spectacular fashion.
I just burped. That was it. That's all they get.
If that's what you want your end to be, you got to give me a heads up because
I thought
how
you
am I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know?
I don't know what to say now or do.
Well, I'm leaving.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.